Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Tuesday, June 27th, 2023. Welcome to day 889. The Supreme Court rejected a legal theory that said state legislatures have the power to decide the rules for federal elections and draw partisan congressional maps. The justices ruled in a 6-3 vote that the North Carolina Supreme Court was acting within its authority when it struck down a congressional districting plan as excessively partisan under state law. In doing so, the court rejected the so-called independent state legislature theory, a fringe legal theory that Republicans claim limits the authority of state courts to question state legislatures on election laws for federal contests. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote for the majority that state courts retain the authority to apply state constitutional restraints when legislatures act under the power conferred upon them by the Elections Clause. But federal courts must not abandon their own duty to exercise judicial review. Roberts added, the Elections Clause does not insulate state legislatures from the ordinary exercise of state judicial review. Justices Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, and Neil Gorsuch dissented. Trump and his allies used the now-rejected independent state legislature theory to justify their attempts to overturn the 2020 election. Meanwhile, Special Counsel Jack Smith's office will interview Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger as part of the federal investigation into Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. In January 2021, Trump called Raffensperger and pressed him to find the votes needed to win Georgia, a state that Biden won by nearly 12,000 votes. Trump told Raffensperger, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. Trump has repeatedly defended the call, calling it a perfect phone call. In related news, the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and other federal agencies downplayed or ignored a massive amount of intelligence information ahead of the January 6th attack on the Capitol, according to a Senate Homeland Security Committee report. The 105-page report, titled Planned in Plain Sight, details how the FBI and DHS failed to fully and accurately assess the severity of the threat identified by that intelligence and formally disseminate guidance to their law enforcement partners with sufficient urgency and alarm to enable those partners to prepare for the violence that ultimately occurred on January 6th. The report faults the agencies for downplaying the known dangers, being reluctant to issue warnings, and hesitating to share intelligence. The report concludes, at a fundamental level, the agencies failed to fulfill their mission and connect the public and non-public information they received. Moving on, the audio recording of Trump discussing with an interviewer a highly confidential document that he kept after leaving office has leaked. In the 2-minute recording, Trump states that these are the papers. This was done by the military and given to me. Trump describes his big pile of paper, which he referred to as highly confidential, to the people in the room, and says, isn't it amazing? They presented me this. This is off the record.
These are bad, sick people.
That was your coup, against you.
Well, it started right at the beginning.
Like when Milley's talking about, you were going to try to do a coup. No, they were trying to do that before you even were sworn in.
That's right.
Trying to overthrow your election.
Well, with Milley, let me see that. I'll show you an example. He said that I wanted to attack Iran. Isn't it amazing? I have a big pile of papers. This thing just came up. Look. This was him. They presented me this. This is off the record, but they presented me this. This was him. This was the Defense Department and him. Wow. We looked at him. This was him. This wasn't done by me. This was him. All sorts of stuff. It's pages long. Look. Wait a minute. Let's see here.
Yeah.
I just found, isn't that amazing? This totally wins my case, Mm-hmm. Except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. Look at this. You attack, and
Hillary would print that out all the time,
She'd send it, she'd send it to Anthony Weiner, the pervert. By the way, isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
I was just saying, because we were talking about it, and he said he wanted to attack Iran and what? These are the papers. This was done by the military, given to me. I think we can probably, right?
I don't know, we'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to try to
Declassify
figure out
it.
yeah.
See, as president, I could have declassified it. Now I can't, but this is classified.
Now we have a problem.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, it's so. Look, we here I have, and you probably almost didn't believe me, but now you believe me.
No, I believe
it's
you.
incredible, right?
No,
hey, bring some Cokes in, please.
The recording is from a July 2021 interview that Trump gave at his Bedminster, New Jersey resort for people working on a book about Mark Meadows. The recording appears to undermine Trump's claims that he had declassified the documents before leaving office or did not have any restricted documents in his possession. Hours after the tape was released, Trump, in an all-caps post on his personal social media site, acknowledged keeping classified documents that he did not declassify, while also attacking Special Counsel Jack Smith and accusing the DOJ and FBI of having illegally leaked and spun a tape and transcript of me, which is actually an exoneration. And finally, the current record heat wave sweeping across the southern United States was made at least 5 times more likely due to human-caused climate change. This according to scientists from Climate Central, a nonprofit science communication organization. Climate Central found the Climate Shift Index, which estimates how much climate change is increasing the likelihood of extreme heat, is currently at level 5 over southern portions of Texas. Level 5 indicates that human-caused climate change made the current excessive heat at least 5 times more likely. The historically intense heat dome responsible for the current heat wave is expected to persist through at least next week and into the following week. Scientists have found that the heat domes are becoming larger, more frequent, and more intense as a result of human-caused climate change, which increases the risk of heat-related illnesses, deaths, droughts, and wildfires. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditas.